I finished The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I started this book back in, I think, May, potentially. Yeah, I think I was technically reading it before June. And I kind of put it down about halfway through. I think I was at like the 48% mark. I was somewhere in chapter part two. There's three parts to this book. And I would say the first part I was really, really enjoying, but then once we got to part two, I just wasn't feeling very invested anymore. And so I did put it down and I just picked it back up over the course of the last 2 days. And I read some of it, but also listened to most of it via audiobook and was following along in the book. And I will say at the end of it, and after finishing it last night and sitting on it for a few hours, I think I'm ultimately going to go with a 3.25 star rating. Um, Things that I enjoyed about this book. I thought the story and the world was very interesting. Kind of just getting thrown into this really um, disheveled empire, something that is like being held together very thinly. I will say, I think our characters, where the story starts very small and then gets much more grand as you go. You do follow your character, our main character, Rin. You follow her through a couple of years in this book, and so you do see a lot of progression as far as kind of beginning rumblings to full out war. There is like war going on in this book. And that brings me to my second part or second main point, and something that I kind of, I guess, forgot about. I don't know. When this book first came out, I do remember a lot of people talking about like the trigger warnings for it and just kind of some certain elements. And while I was reading, I really didn't like, there was some brutal aspects for sure, but it wasn't anything too bad until you get to part three. There's some very graphic descriptions of sexual assaults, murder, obviously, animal violence, animal death. There's just a lot of, but at the same time, you are following someone in war in a country in war. So I do get not shying away from those more brutal elements, but it can be a little bit difficult to read. So that's kind of my thoughts on the Poppy War. I do have the following two books and I will be continuing, but I am very curious to see how I feel about them.